Our next teller is, she loves to tell personal stories, and she does it so well that in Lewiston, Maine, they do a thing called a corner. And she actually came in 3rd place in a story slam. And they only do one a year. They do, every month they do stories, but once a year they do a story slam. And she did outstandingly well. Most of the moose tellers will tell you the same thing. But she's not just a storyteller. She's been a beekeeper. Was in business for 13 years as a beekeeper, getting beehives out of people's buildings, barns, houses, attics. Tonight, she's going to share one of those experiences with us. This is Cindy B. What we just call her B.
Thanks, Vernon. So in my bee removal business, which, as Vernon said, I did for quite a long time, I would usually get calls that went something like this. Oh my God, there are bees coming and going from the side of my house. They are going to gnaw the wood right off, down to the foundation. They're going to sting my children in their sleep and fly away with all of us. You have to come right now. But one day I got a different kind of call. It was from this lady, and she said, well, yes, I have some bees in the soffit of my house. And they've been there, well, 4, 5, okay, maybe 6 years now. And we've enjoyed them. Every springtime they swarm and we watch them. And all summer long they come and go. And it's been wonderful. But I have to get the side of my house painted, and no painters are going to touch it with those bees. Can you kind of work me into your schedule sometime? I was like, wow, this is great. So we talked about the job, and I realized it was going to be a tough job, going to require a 32-foot ladder, but that's all right, I was used to that. And we agreed on a price and a time, and I went out there. So I was standing in the yard talking to the lady and looking at where these bees were, and I realized it was even harder than I first envisioned. Because I couldn't move my ladder. I was going to have to leave my ladder stationary and make a big enough hole in the soffit so that I could get most of my upper body in there so I could reach back and get the nest. Honeybees don't do anything in a small way, and 4 to 6 years worth of a nest is going to be huge. So I knew it was going to be tough. So I'm standing there talking to the lady, telling her, you know, everything I'm going to have to do, and this is going to be a hard job. When her young son comes out and plops his fold-out lawn chair right down next to us. And I realized, this kid's going to watch. He's going to sit there all the time. And it's right in between where my van was and where I was going to have to be hauling my equipment back and forth to the job site. So I said to the lady, you know, I love to talk about bees with kids. I love it when kids are jazzed up about bees. But I can tell you right now, I'm going to have honey all over me. It's going to be a mess. And bees are going to be everywhere. I'm going to piss them off. So maybe it would be better if your son just kind of went inside this time. She looked at me and she said, can I talk to you over here for a minute? So we went a ways off, and she said, my son's name is Adam. Adam is severely autistic. The only thing that draws him out of that dark, mysterious world of his is honeybees. He's fascinated with them. That's why we haven't done anything about these bees. He's loved them. But I'm beginning to get worried about the woodwork on my house. So could you just let him stay there? I'll sign any waiver. I promise I won't sue you if he gets stung. He won't bother you. He doesn't hardly ever talk. He won't be asking you questions. Could you just let him stay? Of course he can stay. Of course, that's fine. If he gets stung, we'll deal with it then. And I could hear other smaller children in the house, and I knew she was going to have to go tend to them, which she did. And so Adam just sat there in his little lawn chair, and I began to get set up. And as I'm hauling my equipment over to where I'm going to have to set the ladder up, I realized that I had left in my van, I had some pictures that I had used giving talks to a Girl Scout troop the week before. And so I think, what if Adam would like to just look at these pictures? They're big laminated pictures. And so there were 4 of them. I took them out and I just kind of put them out in front of Adam as he sat there on his chair. And the first one was a picture of what a beekeeper wears to tend bees. And in the picture was a veil, and I brought one to show you. So, and I wore this when I did the job. So it was a picture of a beekeeper wearing a veil and had a smoker and a hive tool and some different things that the beekeeper would use. The second picture was a picture of a queen, and it showed how the queen is just a little bit bigger than the rest of the bees. Not gigantically bigger, but a little bit. And then the third picture was a picture of a drone, which is a boy bee. And then the fourth one was a picture of worker bees, which are girl bees. So I just laid them all out there, and immediately Adam was fascinated. So I felt good about that. And I went ahead and got set up. And the last thing that I like to put at the top of my ladder when I'm doing a bee removal is a cricket cage. And it's just a cage that I use to put the queen in. I like to get the queen separate. And I like to do that for 3 reasons. First of all, if I don't get enough of the bees, I know that they can't start back over again. They can't build a new hive because I've got the queen. Secondly, I don't like to send her through my bee-vac system. It's a system where I've got some hoses, and she's a little bit bigger, so I like to keep her separate and a little bit more safe. And the third reason, and probably the most important reason, is because queens are just so freaking amazing. Oh my God, if you're holding the queen in your hand and looking at it through that cage, your heart just beats. She's just fascinating. So I try to get the queen separately. Well, I started getting set up, and I made my first cut. Of course, I made it big enough where I could get my body into that cavity. And I took out 2 combs, two big 5-gallon buckets worth of comb. Each time I take out the comb, I'm looking for that queen. I'm turning it over, sucking the bees out, and looking for that queen. And then I put the comb in the bucket. Well, I had 2 5-gallon buckets of comb. And I went down the ladder, put them in my van, closed the door, and went back up again. Still had not found the queen. And I go for the 3rd big 5-gallon bucket of comb, and still no queen, but I take it down the ladder, and I put it in my van, and as I'm walking back across, I happen to look over at Adam, and he points to the first picture. Hat! Wow! Adam talked! Yes! Yes, Adam, that's right. That's a hat. It is called a veil. A beekeeper wears a veil so that the bees can't sting the beekeeper on the face. Almost all beekeepers wear a veil. That's very good. Good job, Adam. So I went on up, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to find that queen for that kid. It is going to be so cool. He's going to be so jazzed up about that. So I practically run up the ladder, and I've got my body. I'm getting into that cavity, pulling out comb, and I get another bucket full, and still no queen. I go down the ladder, and I'm walking to the van, and I put it in my van, close the door, and walking back, and Adam points to the second picture. Queen! Oh my God, that's right, Adam. That's right, you are so smart. What a great kid. You're so smart to point out the single most important bee of the whole hive. That's the queen. She's the mama of all the other bees, and they love her. You're a smart boy. So I go back. I am really going to find that queen now. I am that bad. I climb up that ladder, and I reach back, and I'm getting the last of the comb now. And I get the last piece of the comb, and I look on it. No queen. Shoot. Well, I take my flashlight, and I look all around the cavity. She's not there. Doggone it. I probably sucked her in, and I didn't even notice. But I take the last one down, and the last bucket down, and I go to my van, I put it in the van, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to explain this to this kid? So I go over to Adam, and I say, you know, Adam, I really wanted to find the queen. I really wanted you to just hold her in your hand and see how great she was. I really tried, but... And that's when Adam stood up. He stood right up. He put his little fist on his hips, and he faced me. And in a voice as clear as yours or mine, he said to me, okay, look, I've been trying to tell you the whole time. The queen is on your hat. Well, I couldn't get my hat off fast enough. bed, he picked up his little chair, and he walked across the yard. And I'm trying to get my hat, my veil off. I'm untangling myself, and I ease it off my head. And I look in, oh my God, sure enough, there she is. She is on the brim of the veil. I snatch her up. I grab her because I don't want her to fly away. And as I grab her up, I look across the yard, and Adam has reached his front door. He turned and he looked at me. And it was one of those moments, frozen in time. And it was just the three of us. It was Adam and me and the Queen. We just stood there and watched each other. And then he turned and went inside and softly closed the door to his world. Thank you.